Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Progress Now with Josh. This is a new segment I want to try out called Progressive Hot Takes, where I cover a relatively important news story that's been happening over the past couple of days in 2 minutes or less. Today we're going to be looking at the Sanders-Warren feud. So I'm going to go ahead and set the timer at 2 minutes, and we're going to see if I can cover all the details here in under 2 minutes. Timer set and go. So on January 11th, early in the morning, Politico reported that Bernie Sanders volunteers were using a script to attack Elizabeth Warren, which called her a candidate of the elite. This apparently did not sit well with the Warren camp, as 2 days later, on January 13th, CNN published an article sourced with 4 anonymous sources from within the Warren camp, stating that during a private conversation Warren and Bernie had in 2018, as they were discussing running for the presidency, Warren apparently said that she thought a woman could be president, and Bernie disagreed with that and said he did not think a woman could win the presidency. Bernie Sanders immediately responded and said it was ludicrous to believe that he would say something like that, as he had been saying for decades that a woman could and should run for president and could win. Warren remained silent for most of the rest of that day. Later that night, Warren did release a statement in which she clarified basically what I just said, that they were discussing the topic, and she said, "I think a woman can win," and she states that Bernie said he disagreed with her. Both camps, that was the day before the debate, both camps on debate day decided to de-escalate the feud, so it kind of went silent until debate night. During debate night, one of the CNN hosts did ask Bernie Sanders a question, and they said, "Why did you say that to Elizabeth Warren?" Bernie then said that he did not say that and went on to provide an explanation of things, that he believes would verify that he would not say that. And then they turn immediately to Elizabeth Warren and say, "How did you feel when Bernie did say that?" So that was just kind of an interesting moment in the debate there that everybody got a chuckle out of. Then at the end of the debate, Elizabeth Warren went over and approached Bernie Sanders, and Bernie reached out for a handshake, and she denied him a handshake. They had what looked like a heated conversation, but there was no audio, so we were unsure what they were talking about at that time. The next day, CNN found the audio from that conversation, and come to find out, she had said, "I think you called me a liar on national TV," and Bernie basically said, "Now is not the time for this," and the two walked away, both looking relatively unhappy with each other. It's been a couple of days after that. Neither of the candidates have really said much about this at all, but their supporters online keep feuding about it, and the thing keeps going, and it's still pretty hot with everyone on the internet. January 16th, a couple of polls were released that found Bernie Sanders continuing to go up in the polls, and Elizabeth Warren continuing to trail off a little bit in the polls. And that is pretty much the latest on this. I think it took me about 2 minutes and 30 seconds to get through all that, so I will have to condense this down a little bit more for my next one. My takeaway from this, though, is just that pointless feuds and personal attacks just tend to not play well on the left, especially when you're attempting to smear someone you've been calling a good friend for years. That just doesn't sit well with people. And when you're releasing statements made during a private conversation, it's not a good look. So my thing is, when you've made a name for yourself as a leader of the progressive community, turning your back on progressives just is not going to be helpful to your overall campaign. That's Josh. This is Progressive Hot Takes, and come back for the next video. Appreciate it.
Better together, birds of a feather. We're better together, don't you know? Like wood and leather, like a weatherman and the weather. We're better together, so it goes.